Hi, it's Lynn Shuck with Healing and Balance, and I filmed a brief practice outside, and I didn't want to talk during it because I wanted to try and make sure I stayed evenly in terms of how long I held poses. And sometimes I find when I'm talking, I get busy talking and teaching, and the practice doesn't move very smoothly. I created a fairly short practice. It's just a little over 10 minutes. It's all standing work, which may be surprising if you're used to sitting and lying down in your practice, but sometimes you're in a place where you don't have room to lie down, or like a hotel room where you don't want to lie down. And so it can be nice to just know that you could string together some standing poses and have a pretty complete practice. I hope you enjoy practicing along with it. I did lay a voiceover over it so that you could practice along with it and not just try and watch it and figure out what I did. The fun part is being able to see myself practice, which I don't usually have mirrors. So I was able to catch some of the things that I'm always trying to tell my students to do, and I'm not necessarily as successful at it as I thought. So that should give you comfort that we all just start where we are. Enjoy the practice and stand outside, stand in your living room, stand somewhere, move your body. Go. Find a space where you have enough room. Make your way to mountain. As you come to Tadasana, mountain pose, feet are hip width apart, outer edges of the feet parallel, and we inhale and exhale, moving the arms with the breath. Inhale to take the arms up, exhale to take them down, trying to keep the ribs in. You'll see as I turn sideways, I put one hand on my rib cage so I can check and see, do my ribs fly forward as I take my arms up? I'm continuing to breathe here. You want to try and keep your weight over your heels. And as you exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Now I have my fingers on the floor. If yours don't reach the floor, place them wherever you wish to. Press down through your heels, get your knee joints over your ankle joints, and lift the back of your thighs up. Step back to incline plane, shoulder blades on your back. Push your head and your heels away from each other. Try and get weight into the balls of your feet, not just your toes. Lift the hips into the air to downward facing dog. You shouldn't need to adjust your hands, but of course you might. As you come up to standing, I choose to step wide to come up and then step my feet back to mountain. Inhale, exhale, and step one leg back. Without any rotation, you're on the ball of the back foot and pressing weight down into the front heel, trying to lift the pelvis upright as you come to front warrior. The back leg is reaching long away from that pelvis. I like to take my arms open and externally rotate them, palms up, elbows down, arms bent. I'm pressing through both heels, and I step my feet back to mountain. Inhale, exhale, big step back, second side. Press down into that front heel, press back through the back heel, try and lift that pelvis upright. If you choose to open the arms out to the side, take that external rotation. The ribs should not fly forward as you do so. Try and pull up through the back of the neck. Stepping your feet back to mountain. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Once more, knees are over the ankles, and we're trying to lift the hamstrings toward the ceiling, tailbone up toward the sky, working towards a straighter leg. Plant your hands, step back to incline plane. You'll notice my ribs are a little collapsed out. It looks like my belly is, but actually the belly's working. It's the ribs that are flying forward. You can see that more if you look at the back of my body. And as you head to downward dog, you might also want to notice the bee that's flying around in front of the camera that looks almost animated. Coming from downward dog, I step my feet wide as I walk them towards my hands. I come up to standing. I step my feet back to a wide stance. Prasarita Padottanasana. I place my hands on the floor shoulder width. If your hands don't reach the floor, put them on your shins or your back. Let them be somewhere. Come up to standing on an inhale. Turn one foot out 90 degrees, and we come to side warrior. Press down into both heels. You should feel that put work into your muscles and out of your joints. Check that the ribs stay in. If you want to have that bent arm position with that external rotation, it opens the chest without putting undue tension in the traps in the upper neck and shoulders. We come up, and we switch to the second side. Knee comes over the ankle, press into both heels. Again, if you take the arms into that external rotation out to the sides, check that the ribs aren't flying forward. Try and lift up through the back of the neck. Turn the feet parallel, wide forward fold, Prasarita Padottanasana. Again, we want the knees and the ankles to line up and then to lift the pelvis right above those knees, lengthening the back of the legs by lifting through them, not by pushing the knees back. On an inhale, come up to standing. Exhale, you'll step your feet back to mountain. Inhale. Exhale, big step back, front warrior, first side. Pressing through both heels, check the ribs, try and lift the pelvis up. We're going to start moving the torso, exhaling forward into extension, inhaling, coming up. As you do this, you want to watch that you're keeping your legs as still as you can. There's a tendency to drop the back thigh every time you come upright. Sometimes there's a tendency to straighten the front knee every time you come upright. Come into that extension and hold. Really press through those heels. If you want to reach the arms over your head, you can. Push down through that front heel as you reach back through the back heel. Lift the torso up and then step your feet together. Inhale. Exhale, step back with the second side. No rotation in the leg. Press through both heels as you start to move. Exhale, tipping forward. Inhale, coming up. You want that movement to happen because your pelvis comes toward your thigh and then lifts up off the thigh. This isn't rounding the back or arching to come upright. Spine stays fairly neutral. Next time you're forward, stay there, press into both heels. One's pushing into the ground, one into the air. Arms can be overhead if you like. Ribs stay in. Come up on an inhale and step your feet together. Inhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Each time you come back to Uttanasana, you can check in and see if it's changing. We'll step the legs back to incline, pushing back through the heels. Head and heels reach away from each other. Draw the shoulders away from your ears. Lift your hips to downward facing dog. Again, we want length in the legs and length in the spine. Don't let your head get pulled up into your shoulders. Reach your head away from your tailbone. I'm stepping wide, coming up to standing, and then back to mountain. Back to a wide stance. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, we set up for Virabhadrasana B, side warrior. We press into the heels, and we start to move the torso. Exhaling over, inhaling up. Now the spine can curve to the side, but it shouldn't curve in this particular pose. It should stay long and extended on both sides. When you come to the side and hold in Utthita Parshvakonasana, extend the arms, one toward the floor, one can be over the ear or straight up toward the ceiling. And then bring your torso up and come out of the legs. We switch sides, bending the second knee. Press into those heels, make sure you're really using those legs, and then we start to move the torso. Again, it's the pelvis that's going to move you. Exhale over, inhale up. Legs stay fairly still. At least we're trying to. And you want to see length on both sides of the torso, not a lot of curve. As you go to extend the arms, that shouldn't change the shape of your torso. Find that line from either your top hand to your back heel or from the crown of your head to your back heel. Notice I'm not resting on the arms. We'll come back up to a wide parallel, Prasarita Padottanasana. Pressing down through the head toward the floor, up through the tailbone toward the ceiling, not back through the knees. You want to really push the heels down and lift the hamstrings up. Inhale to come up to standing. Make your way back to mountain and move the arms with your breath. Inhaling up and exhaling down. We're going to get ready to do a couple balance variations. Picking up one leg, check that you haven't started to tuck under or arch your back, thrusting the ribs forward. We're going to extend that leg in front of you and then bending it, take it behind you. Extend the leg in front of you. Bend at the knee, take it behind you. Now the thighs are parallel, trying to bring the heel towards your rear end. Extend the leg in front of you. And then, tipping the torso forward, extend into Warrior 3. I work with a flexed foot. I find that allows me to use my hamstrings more and get out of the front of my thigh. We take the second side. Pick the leg up, try not to tuck your tailbone under, try not to thrust the ribs forward, and we extend the leg forward, bend it back in, bring the knee alongside the other leg, and pull your heel towards your rear end. Bend the knee, extend it out in front of you, bend it, bring the thighs alongside each other, pull your heel towards your rear end. Once more, we extend the leg out in front, trying to keep the torso very still, and then bend the leg. As you tip forward, extend through that heel, extending the leg, extending the arms. Notice I'm not parallel to the ground, but I do have a good long line from head to heel. Bringing the leg down, we inhale the arms out and up. Exhale into forward fold, Uttanasana. Noticing if this pose is changing, if you're able to use your legs more as you've woken them up through those standing poses. Inhale to come up. Exhale, just bring the arms by your side. Getting ready for a twist, you'll cross one leg over the other. Now my feet are fairly close together. Yours might not be. Squeeze your thighs in toward each other. And you're going to turn in the direction of whatever leg was put in front. So if your right foot is forward, you're turning to the right. Press both feet into the floor. Check that your ribs did not fly out. Check that your hands did not move across your chest. They should stay in front of your chest in that prayer position. We come out of the twist. We cross the legs to the other side. Squeeze the thighs in toward each other. Inhale. Exhale and turn to the other side. The rib cage is turning. This is a fairly small twist. You can then continue into the cervical twist, turning your head. But you want to keep the ribs in, squeeze those thighs toward each other. Try not to lock the knees back. Press those feet into the ground. Inhale to come out of that, uncross the legs. We inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale them down. Bring your hands into a prayer position. Check that there's not an enormous amount of tension. There's a little bit of effort as you shift weight over your heels and press down into your heels and up through the back of your neck. But not an extraordinary amount of tension just to stand up straight. Check that the collarbones are wide as you breathe here. And then bring your arms down. Namaste.